Hey friends, how's it going? It's Monday. It sure was Monday. It took 2 trips to the lumber yard today. Couldn't get it in one, I had to get it in 2. I tell you, oh my Lord, some days are just like that. But we're back at the shop. The deck's going good. I imagine by end of next week we'll probably be close to being finished. We're working on the lower landing and the steps leading up to the staircase. It's steps on 3 sides. I just thought I would come to the shop and take a moment to brag on my tool belt from Jay Daniels. I'm telling you, Jay, I'm telling you. You need to think about selling these things. This is great. It's a great tool belt, and it's sort of a changing of the guards from my old tool belt to the new tool belt. Even though I've been wearing the belt, I had my own pouches, and I decided to get a new set of pouches. I would have had Jay make me a set of pouches, but they get so torn up and so messed up that I would hate for him to make a set of tool pouches and then me just destroy them. But anyway, that said, I went to Lowe's, is where I get them, just because they're accessible and they're relatively cheap, and they put up with enough abuse. I can usually get a couple of years out of them before the hammer loops start busting on me, and they just start wearing out from the sweat and stuff. Belts are a little bit different story. The last belt that I had, I bought in like 92 or 93, and you'll see it in just a second. But I just wanted to run through really, other than, just the fact that it's him and he's a dear friend and he made it for me. I loved it. The other thing is how's it holding up? I mean, that's really, in this type of situation, that's the ultimate thing. Is this going to work in the field, or is it going to be just me in the shop, taking it easy on it? And, well, it's plenty strong. He makes saddles, so I told him he was making a saddle for an ass. So he knew right what to do. But anyway, without further ado, the other story was the tool bags. On the new one, you can get a look at my new rig here. These AWP bags from Lowe's, they don't make them anymore. They carry the cobalt bags, which nothing really looked like I would even want to put it on. I don't like metal hammer loops. I like just these bare bones leather bags because they keep you, especially when you're working inside somebody's house, they don't make your total width as a person very big. Like framing bags, they increase the circumference around you, and you can walk by something and knock something off of a table with your tools, which isn't a good idea. But anyway, here's the new rig. But what I had to go through, I had to get these bags on eBay. I found some new bags on eBay that I guess somebody had either bought the last of the lot or what it was. But I got some mud on it today. Breaking in new bags is always a little dicey because you're invariably, I always run my fingernail up on one of these rivets. And they're okay. I mean, they're suitable. They're not. Would I have a nicer set of bags? Yeah, but they're just going to get trashed. Depending on what you're doing. I've had these loops get ripped off by catching on something and just tearing off. And you really actually do want these to tear off. You don't want to get hung up on something and have something, especially if you're on a ladder or something, you want it to break and be able to break free of it. But here's the old rig. You can see that belt is plenty sweated in. The stitching is gone. And it's funny because he told me that this stitching, I thought this stitching was for decoration, but this stitching actually, even though it's a single ply, actually helps keep the shape of the belt. And well, I had it maybe a year or two and the stitching started coming out. But I mean, you can see as the leather stretched, the holes, and it's funny too, because you're like, oh, well, I must be getting thinner. It's like, no, the belt is just stretching out. You're not getting thinner, my friend. You're not. So anyway, yeah. But this, I have to say, I've run through this before. This thing it actually feels like a weightlifter's belt. There's the initials of my company. But I mean, it's wearing in just fine. And actually this mule skin is great. It really is. I've really been pleased with it. So, hey, if you're in the market for something like this, give him a holler. Because that's the best belt I've ever worn. Hands down. Hands freaking down. Best tool belt, been a carpenter since 90. Joined the union in 98. And have worn tool belts in the cold, in the hot, in the nice weather, So, best one I've ever worn. So anyway, I wanted to actually also go over just what a normal carpenter wears, what he packs in here, because it's pretty much what I carry every day. And I don't know, maybe some people want to know, these are tools that are good to have on you if you're doing a project. If you're building a shed or whatnot. But let me get these bags broken apart and I will be right back and I'll show you what I wear in the field and what I wear in the shop. I'll talk to you in a minute. See ya. That's pretty gorgeous. My buddy today was making fun of me. He was calling me the freaking cub, which is an apprentice, what we call an apprentice, because I had new pouches and a new belt. It was funny. That's kind of a running joke with all of us. But anyway, I kind of laid out both pouches. Here's the other one. And basically, just running through it. I generally don't carry that flat bar because they have a tendency to flip, especially on interior stuff, but anywhere, it tends to flip out of the pouch. And if it's inside, it's not good. But I carry a 35-foot tape, and I've carried the Stanley Fat Max since the Fat Max came out. It's just a great tape. It's super accurate. It stretches out a long way. It has a top hook and a bottom hook on this thing. If you can focus in on that. So you can hook, you can top hook, or you can bottom hook. But it's a very smooth tape. I like them. Tapes in recent years have gotten thinner. It's just the way it is. It doesn't matter which manufacturer. The Milwaukee tape is too wide for me. The 35-footer is too wide. They tend to get big with other companies. And I'm just, it's all what you're used to, I mean, if you like a Milwaukee tape, that's fine. As long as your tape and my tape, if we're working together, match up. And this is what we do. If you're working with somebody, first thing you do on the job is, it's kind of hard to do this with one hand on the camera and one hand. But you take a framing square and you each tape the framing square. Let's see if we can get this to... That's pretty darn close. And as long as, if you're off a little bit, that's not the greatest thing in the world, but as long as the freaking tapes are hitting the same place, then that's good. And you can adjust your hook, although with these new tapes, it's really not necessary. With 3 rivets, come on. And then there's a Mylar, can you see that? Yeah, there's a Mylar protection deal there that helps that first 3 inches. But you just want to check that. That's something you want to check. Anyway, I'm not really getting into how to do stuff today. I'm just giving you an idea of what I carry. Which this, that I call it my Tweaky bar. This is a must for everyone's toolbox or tool belt. Toolbox, tool belt. From prying to finagling to jiggling to getting stuff to fit. This is made by Dasco, which is actually made in the United States. Let me see. Here's a newer one for the shop. Nope, this gives you a better example. This one's newer, but they're not the greatest in the world. The edges on them aren't. And what I do is I take a flap wheel on an angle grinder and I grind them to where they're more useful. First I grind them sharp, and then I kind of get that guy where I want it. Less than an 1/8, probably, what does that look like? About a 1/16 on that edge? Yeah. But when they're thick like this, you might as well use a freaking, I don't know what you would use, but it's just clunky. Even these guys, this one hasn't been sharpened yet. This one has. This is an old Stanley. You want to definitely make it sometimes with these tools, they come off of the manufacturer's assembly line and the idea is right, but they're just not tweaked. Like this guy, same thing. Not only that, but I take off the paint because on this particular East Wing bar, if you don't take off the paint and you say you're taking trim off, you run the risk, baseboard off, you run the risk of getting this blue paint on somebody's drywall and then having to explain to them why you got paint on their drywall, which isn't a good idea. Anyway, moving along, just have a regular punch here for setting nails sometimes or driving nails through. A nail set, this is not a punch, this is a nail set. A 5-in-1 screwdriver that has, it's a 5/16 nut driver. When you take the bit out, small Phillips, large or number 2 Phillips, number 1 Phillips, and flatheads, end nippers for prying out nails. You can get side cutters, little vice grips, little crescent wrench, construction chisel, speed square, utility knife, pencil, chalk box, hammer, 20-ounce fiberglass, socket, 3/8 socket, apex with Torx. And I have a box that has all kinds of bits and stuff. And so I try to figure out what I'm using for the particular job, what screws I'm using, and then pretty much that Phillips never gets changed out. I have one I can change out. I have different bits, 1/4-inch driver, a 6-inch 1/8 bit, 6-inch 3/16, and a 6-inch 1/4. And that'll be another video, how I use those and what I do with those. But this is the basic rig. Oh, and since I'm filming with my cell phone, you get a cell phone. Usually my cell phone fits right in that pocket. And so all that fits in there. And believe it or not, that's like, that weighs some. And then you get nails and stuff and other things, other tools that you want to carry. And you know, you're talking up to 20 pounds, sometimes more. If you're framing and setting trusses, you've got this cat's paw running through here like this, and you're walking around with probably a couple of pounds of 16 sinkers and stuff. So, you know, you call them the saddlebags, and they are saddlebags. They're human saddlebags. But it all fits together pretty nice. And the thing, like I said, about these pouches is they keep the circumference. They keep your, you know, they keep your circumference smaller than the framing bags. And you know, the framing bags, the bigger you get, the more stuff you put in them. And at the end of the day, it's just, you're just like, oh my God, I'm worn out. Why? It's like, well, you were wearing 35 pounds of stuff. So you just kind of learn how to consolidate, and believe it or not, you can do a lot of stuff with this little setup here. You know, you can get a lot done and not have to go to the truck. So maybe try a variation of that and see how it works for you. Like I said, even if you're at home building a shed, but that stuff never leaves that. I always have that on me. I can shut my eyes and pull out. I can not even know where it is, and I can grab whatever I need by feel. I've just been doing it so long. And you get this automatic thing going, and you just, you know, it's like, okay, corral, you know, you got your gun and you go. So anyway, that's what I wear in the field. That would be framing, and that would be trimming and building stairs and whatever I need to do. And I can augment what I need to swap out for the particular task that I'm doing. If you're more with your, like with fasteners and stuff, you know, you can use you're using your impact driver and you're using your drill, then obviously you're going to have more bits. And just depending, you know, it just depends what you're doing. You might have countersink in there, just different kinds of things. And unfortunately, sometimes you're running 3 or 4 different kinds of screws. So you're going to have more bits, and it can get crazy. So anyway, that's that. And we're coming back to the retired belt. Still got some life in this, and you know, I've had these bags. These bags are probably 3 years old. But yeah, the belt's completely gone, but it's terrific for the shop. And I just feel at home in this, you know. I just feel, you know, my buddy he looks like a fly fisherman, the guy that's helping me with my deck, Rick. He's like it's awesome, but I'm just so used to my belt. You know, it's cloth and it zips up, and you like wear it like a shirt basically, and it's got the whole 9 yards, bags and loops and stuff, and he loves it. And I'm just like, I'm just too used to this, you know. So anyway, this is what I wear in the shop. It's similar setup, less tools. It's got some nostalgia in it. You know, I love the fact that I've worn the bejesus off of this belt. And so that'll be nice. I like that. That hammer I bought at my hardware store here in town. That's just the last plumb hammer that particular shop sold last plum hammer made in the USA. Plum hammers, the company Plum, all of their stuff's made in China now. And that's the last 20 ounce that it was stamped made in USA. That my tools being made in the States or being made in Germany or in a reputable place. I'll even take Taiwan. Taiwan makes pretty decent tools. South Korea makes good tools. The Japanese make great tools. Chinese tools, I'm just not a fan of. You have to. But I mean, even stuff in Mexico is pretty decent. You know, a lot of the big companies are down there. So, you know, it's just my own fuddy-duddy old carpenter, get the heck off my grass mentality, I guess. So anyway, getting back to this. The only addition really to this is a tri-square, which I used to wear a tri-square with that, but the way I carry it, it's not practical in the field. And so I stopped. Anyway, in the shop you find that you need a tri-square more, just because sometimes the webbing of the speed square gets in the way, especially if you're trying to square up a blade in some machinery. Works okay on a chop box, but on a bandsaw and other pieces of machinery, it's not so good. But yeah, some vice grips. An eraser is another addition to this, because sometimes there's some erasing going on on plywood and whatnot. Really didn't mind the DeWalt tape too much. Still prefer the Stanleys. Got a little smaller tweaky bar. And really in the shop, you know, you've got more latitude in the shop. I mean, you know, you've got stuff, you know, you don't have to walk to your vehicle, you know, in the front yard. You're in the backyard and you have to walk to the front yard. You know, in the field, you're trying to carry as much stuff so you can minimize your trips and how much you walk per day. So that's pretty much it. That's what I carry. If you have any questions or, you know, anything to add, you know, leave in the comments. But I've been carrying this and sometimes more for going on 30 years, and it's served me well. Oh, I forgot the little scriber. I like this scriber because it's very compact, and you can scribe a very small amount with it, you know. And they're just a couple of bucks, but that, you know, they're invaluable. I don't like the ones with the pencil on the loop of the side, because basically if that's hanging off to the side, if you're trying to scribe something around some stone or stuff, that always seems to get in the way. And it's just not as accurate as this guy. You can sneak this guy in like big time. But that's it. Carpenter pencil. Yeah. So anyway, I hope this, what is it, the first Monday of 2021 is treating you well. I was off to a rocky start. It was 31 this morning. Fog everywhere, and fog visibility was down under a quarter of a mile. It was crazy. But yeah, I hope everybody is ready to freaking just get after it this year. And we're gonna do something. We are doing something. That's what's so cool, is stuff is happening. And having a good attitude, it snowballs. I think it's helpful in the day-to-day, and it's helpful. It helps other people be positive, you know. So we got to keep that up. That's where I'm at with all of that. There's a lot of shenanigans going on, and I'm just not having it and not taking part of it. And that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about that. Yeah, still got the messy workbench. That's getting cleaned up here sometime this week soon. The other thing I just wanted to throw in real quick, we are probably an hour away. Drum roll, please. I actually could do that, but I'm not. I'm too tired to go in there and do a drum roll. But we are probably an hour away from dust collection on every piece of machinery in this shop. That's awesome. Which means no more moving hoses, no more getting lazy and not moving a hose and having to hog a bunch of dust. Just a better shop environment. I've got to get another one of those air filters, maybe another one, maybe two more. But I've got a dust collector here that's going to this sanding center, which has an outlet. I guess it's an inlet. Outlet in it. Inlet, innie, outie. I don't know. So for this actual main sander, for the disc and for the belt, it drops down. And then the bag sander here, the combination bag sanders, that'll fall down in the trough. But so this is completely dust. This is dust collection city, which is going to be helpful going to this collector. I'm also running the table saw, which I was having with this long of a run with this table saw. I was having collection problems. So we're going to see if shortening the run up on that guy is going to help. I hope it does. And then I've got a series of blast gates that are hooked up so I can shut these down. So I shut that blast gate down, and we're going to come to the knife grinder that we use for shaping axe handles. And we've got this guy ready to drop. And okay, so then, and this is running, this is, let's see. Yeah, okay, so that's running off of that. This one was, I had to move from the joiner. He's going to go back to the joiner over there, and he's running off of that dust collector over there. So then I've got my hood for the chop box. That's already, that's old work that I did. That's original work to the shop. So we got that running to the joiner. And then I've got that Y over there that's going to run to the radial arm saw, which has collection here, and it has collection in the guard. And then there'll be a blast gate on that I can also open. And I've got myself a little shop vac system with an Oneida cyclone on it, which allows the particles, the big particles, to drop down in the bucket, and the dust too. So that's cool. Man, this place is looking halfway decent. I can't believe it. So that's the one run. The other run is coming over here and is picking up the bandsaw. Then we Y off of this under construction, and we come up to the router table. And then there'll be a series of blast gates here. These all can be shut down. And finally, we reach the dovetail station for joints on drawers and boxes and whatnot. So, goodness gracious. It's happened. It's taken 4 years for it to happen, but yeah, I think it's time to get serious about it. And then eventually what all this will mean is it's going to mean a new machine that can really, oops, it can really, I have 1500 CFM here, and I think I have about 1000 CFM over there. And it's just barely adequate. So we're shooting for getting probably upwards and around a 2000 CFM with a cyclone and stuff that's gonna last quite a bit longer and just do a more efficient, better job of pulling the dust off the machines. It just has to happen. That's, I think that's where we're gonna leave it today. It's been a good day, even though my toes and my butt is cold too. Get a little cranky when my butt's cold. I don't like it. I can handle a lot of things, but a cold butt, I don't like it. Anyway, everybody, man, isn't this cool? This is so cool. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for having good vibes. Thanks for just making it happen. Everybody's trying their best. That's just so gratifying and so awesome. You know, everybody's being supportive. So let's keep it up. Let's keep it going, and see where this thing goes. Because I think it's headed somewhere really good. Don't know where, but it's going good. It's going to be awesome. So have yourself a great Monday, and I will talk to you soon. Peace out.